Already several Colorado counties are under winter storm warnings through tomorrow morning.
Any snow that comes with that storm could potentially add to the avalanche danger in the high country. This is a live look at the Colorado Avalanche Information Center's map. Avalanche warnings are in effect in several areas, including Rocky Mountain National Park. The center says avalanches will be easy to trigger, so stay away from those areas. The snow already pounding the high country, along with snow for the metro area later today, is why we have just called a weather impact alert within the last half hour. Good morning. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. Good morning, everyone. Let's get a check of your forecast now with senior meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. And these snow totals just sent. Keep in mind, these snow totals are on top of the 18 to 36 inches of snow that we picked up back over the weekend and late last week. Keystone, 10 inches of snow, 9 inches apiece. Copper Mountain, Steamboat, Winter Park. And these snow totals continuing to flow on in. Again, I just updated these totals within the last 5 minutes, and those totals will continue to pile up as we head through the day today. This is due to the jet stream being directly overhead. Think of the jet stream as a kind of giant funnel of Pacific moisture, and that's going to stream its way into our northern mountains, and it will set up the potential for snow squalls. What's a snow squall? That's a good question. I'll explain that in just a second, but it means that it's going to be very difficult in terms of that travel this afternoon and this evening. There's that snow squall likelihood where you get that potential for 1 to 2 inches of fast hitting snow, and that will be at its highest probability this afternoon and this evening. So if you're heading to or from the mountains this afternoon, I know there's a lot of fresh snow. I know it's President's Day. I know there's a lot of you traveling to or from the mountains. Folks, get that drive done as early as possible because it does look like it's going to be pretty nasty out there through today. Meantime, here in Denver, snow showers as well. I'll show you those snowfall totals for you in just a couple minutes in my full forecast.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. I want to give you a look at a crash that I have been following. This is I-25 in Colorado Boulevard. We've seen a lot more cars kind of pile up here. You can see a lot of those taillights, and you can see all of those flashing lights. So I want to give you a look at what this looks like on our maps because it is slowing things down. So again, this is northbound I-25 at Colorado Boulevard. The left lane here is blocked. We were just seeing a little bit of yellow in here, but now we're seeing it backed up to that orange. So again, that is causing a slowdown. I want to give you a look at some other things that I'm looking at. Otherwise, this is really, it's looking good out there. We're seeing a lot of green out there this morning. Northwest 270 from I-70 into 25, you have the green light. That's just going to take you 4 minutes. And if you are taking southbound I-25 from 144th to 76, you've got the green light. That'll just take you 9.
And thank you. New this morning, we have gathered new information concerning the shooting at the main event in Highlands Ranch. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office identified the man their deputies confronted and shot outside the arcade more than 2 weeks ago. We've learned that man's name is Jalen Sebron. The Sheriff's Office provided his name in an update on social media. They called him an accessory to the woman accused of firing shots inside the arcade after a fight in the women's bathroom. Nevaeh Crowley Sanders faces charges in that shooting. Deputies say the fight spilled out into the parking lot, and that's where deputies say Sebron was armed with a different gun. A deputy shot him after he refused to put his gun down and then reportedly aimed it at the deputy. We're waiting for the department to release body camera footage to show exactly what happened, but we've also learned from the department that may get held up in court. As for Crowley Sanders, she has a preliminary hearing in 10 days. Right now, we're also waiting on body camera footage from a deadly shooting in Colorado Springs on Saturday. 2 officers there are on leave because of it. They were called to a family disturbance at a home and found one person inside with a gun. Police ordered him to drop it, but he raised it toward them. The officers fired. The man was killed. We have learned this morning Colorado Springs police plan to share an update and video in the next few weeks.
In about 24 hours, the city of Aurora is expected to shut down the Edge at Lowry Apartments. That means the handful of people Aurora police tell us are still there are running out of time. CBZ management ran the complex. It's been at the center of national attention for its reported issues involving members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, as well as the rundown conditions there. Police say a couple living there was kidnapped and tortured. The city hired a temporary property administrator to assess the property and connect tenants with relocation resources. This morning marks day 12 in the King Super strike, which means we are 2 days from the walkout's expected end. The union representing the King Super's workers planned the strike to last 14 days. This morning, the roughly 10,000 employees also have some new restrictions on their picketing actions. A judge ruled Friday that they cannot block delivery vehicles and cannot put anything in front of stores that can restrict people's access.
Despite the federal holiday, efforts to downsize the federal government continue. This morning, we're learning those actions are now affecting the FAA. The union representing those workers says hundreds of probationary employees are being let go, and they could be barred from accessing FAA facilities as soon as tomorrow. These are people who work on air traffic control communications, radio, and computer systems. Meanwhile, this morning, several immigration judges are waking up without a job. The DOJ fired them over the weekend. These firings come after the immigration case backlog reached record levels during each of the last 3 years. Right now, there's also concern about how the federal cutbacks could impact the IRS, especially since we're less than a month from the tax deadline. The new Treasury Secretary has said IRS employees cannot take the president's buyout offer during tax season. That's not to say they're immune forever.
No, I don't expect it, but I think that the Internal Revenue Service will be looked at like everybody else.
Today, protests are planned here in Colorado in support of federal workers. We have learned of two, one at Rocky Mountain National Park starting in just a few hours and the other at the state capitol. The protest at the Capitol will be the second such protest in a month. This is video from a little more than 2 weeks ago. This group protested ICE raids and President Trump's immigration policies. We're told today's protest at the state capitol will start at noon.
New this morning, a new construction project starting this morning might affect your drive down in Castle Rock for a few days. Starting at 8:30 this morning, West Frontage Road will be shut down south of Plum Creek Parkway just past the I-25 on-ramp. It'll stay closed until 5 p.m. today through Thursday. The closure is for the Crystal Valley Interchange project. Crews are placing new bridges over I-25 Frontage Road and the BNSF railway tracks to connect the east and west sides of the interstate. The closure that we're telling you about this morning is just for phase 1 of this project. Phase 2 will start this Sunday, and when that happens, crews will shut down I-25 between Plum Creek Parkway and Toma Road overnight. That closure will run from 10:30 at night until 5:30 in the morning on Sunday and next Monday. New this morning, a recently completed bikeway project has received a lot of pushback from the people living in Denver's Park Hill neighborhood. 9 News reporter Brianna Fernandez is live along Kearney Street right now. And Brianna, what were some of the issues with this new project?
Yeah, so some of the issues you're seeing it right here is really these traffic barriers that people were complaining about, and also pinch points. So these pinch points are supposed to narrow down the street and traffic is supposed to slow down, but neighbors were saying it did the complete opposite. People were going extremely fast on the opposite directions. And then you also have to think about they had to share this roadway not only with drivers, cyclists, and also pedestrians. So a lot of the residents here along Kearney Street took matter into their own hands. So they started collecting their own data, including the number of cars and their speed. They met with city officials and laid it all out for them. City officials agreed to make changes that would include taking out the pinch points and replacing them with speed cushions, which is a big speed bump. Dottie will also reduce the number of traffic posts by 75% from the initial plan. Thanks to the residents in this neighborhood, changes will now be made across the metro area.
These changes really that were pushed forward by this neighborhood will impact across the city. So this has citywide impact. So it's not singular just for this bikeway. So folks across the city and county of Denver should expect some changes that they may have been waiting for.
Yeah, Corey, Jordan, it is a win-win situation for city officials and residents, not only because city officials are able to see exactly what went wrong across the metro area and here in Kearney Street, but also residents who usually have to take this road and bike through this neighborhood. Now, when I spoke to Councilman Watson, he says that these changes could be happening in the next 2 to 3 months. So, of course, we're going to keep you updated when these changes happen and when all of this will completely go away. For now, I'm live here in Park Hill. Brianna Fernandez for 9 News.
Thank you so much, Brianna. I want to give you a look at 70 in the mountains. This is where I'm seeing the most color this morning. That is for sure. Slowdowns as slow as 22 miles an hour on 70 West heading into the mountains and 35 miles an hour heading back home. People are trying to beat the traffic, but they are definitely still in it this morning. Also want to let you know that Loveland Pass and Berthoud Pass are closed.
And that drive is only going to get worse as we get later on through today, especially this afternoon because the potential for snow squalls. These are little narrow slivers of really intense snow, and that will make that drive home from the mountains even worse than this morning's drive up. So folks, I get it. There's 2 to 3 feet of fresh snow up in the high country, but a lot of you skiing on this President's Day weekend, you have a rough drive back on I-70 and through those main passes we head through this afternoon.